If you've ever felt anxious because you're interested in too many things, listen closely, because this video might quietly change how you see your entire future. Most career advice was never designed for minds like yours. It was built for people who pick one thing early and never look back. But you didn't fail at choosing. You outgrew the idea that you're supposed to be just one thing. And if you've been secretly worried that your curiosity will ruin your career, stay with me, because leaving now means missing the one perspective that finally makes everything click. From the outside, people say you're unfocused. They tell you to just pick one path. They hint that your interests are distractions instead of direction. But inside, you feel something different. You feel energized when learning something new. You feel alive when connecting ideas that don't usually belong together. And you feel restless when forced into a narrow box that doesn't fit your mind.
Psychology shows that people with many interests often have high cognitive flexibility. That means your brain naturally sees patterns across different domains. Research indicates this is linked to creativity, problem-solving, and adaptability. Yet, in traditional career thinking, this trait is misunderstood as inconsistency, so instead of being trained to use it, you're taught to suppress it. Here's the quiet truth most people never tell you. The future of work is no longer a straight line. It's not even a single curve anymore. It's becoming something called an M-shaped path. Not one specialty, not two, but multiple peaks of skill that reinforce each other over time. People with one interest build a single tower. People like you build bridges between towers, and those bridges are where new opportunities are created. Psychology suggests that meaning comes from integration, not limitation. When your interests overlap, your confidence grows. When they're separated, you feel fragmented and unsure.
Think about how many times your random skills helped you unexpectedly. The hobby that improved your communication. The side interest that sharpened your intuition. The curiosity that made you understand people better than your peers. None of that was wasted. It just wasn't labeled as valuable yet. Most people burn out because they repeat the same role for too long. You burn out when you're not allowed to evolve, and that difference matters more than you realize. This isn't about doing everything at once. It's about sequencing your interests in a way that compounds. It's about knowing that your career doesn't have to shrink to succeed. It can expand intelligently. If this is already describing you more accurately than any advice you've heard before, pause for a second. Notice the relief in your body. That relief is information. Here's where most people with many interests get stuck. They try to choose the best one too early. Psychology shows that premature commitment creates identity anxiety. You're not anxious because you lack direction. You're anxious because you're forcing a decision before your pattern has revealed itself. Research indicates that multi-potential minds don't discover clarity by narrowing. They discover clarity by layering. Each interest adds context to the others. Each skill deepens the meaning of the rest. The mistake isn't having too many interests. The mistake is treating them as separate lives instead of connected chapters. Think of your interests as signals, not obligations. You're not meant to master all of them forever. Some are bridges, some are accelerators, some are temporary lenses that sharpen how you see the world. The M-shaped future works because it allows rotation without regression. You don't abandon one skill to learn another. You carry it forward. You stack competence instead of restarting from zero. This is why people like you often succeed later, not earlier. Your growth curve looks slow at first, but psychology shows delayed integration often leads to stronger long-term identity. You're building internal coherence, not just external status. Look at how industries are changing. The most valued people now combine skills that rarely coexist. Creative thinkers who understand systems, technical minds who understand emotion, strategists who understand human behavior. These combinations don't come from choosing one interest, they come from honoring many. If you've ever felt behind, hear this clearly. You are not late. You are incubating. Your mind is gathering raw material, and one day the connections will suddenly feel obvious. This is also why comparison hurts you more than others. You're comparing your multi-track growth to someone else's single-track progress. Psychology shows this creates false self-doubt. You're measuring depth against breadth without accounting for synthesis. When people say, stay in your lane, they're speaking from a different nervous system. Your lane was never meant to be narrow. It was meant to be adaptive. The key shift is this. Stop asking, which interest should I choose? Start asking, which interest builds on what I already know? That single question reduces overwhelm instantly. Because clarity for you doesn't come from restriction, it comes from alignment. Here's the grounding truth that changes everything. Your career doesn't need a single destination. It needs a direction that can bend without breaking you. Psychology shows that identity is healthiest when it's flexible but coherent. That means you don't become someone new every year. You become a clearer version of yourself across different contexts. The people who thrive in the M-shaped future don't chase passion blindly. They choose a primary anchor, one role or field that pays the bills and builds credibility. Then they intentionally develop secondary peaks that feed into it. This is how curiosity becomes strategy. Your side interests aren't distractions. They are leverage waiting for timing. Think of the writer who studies psychology and marketing, the designer who learns business and storytelling, the analyst who studies human behavior and communication. None of them are scattered, they're differentiated. Research indicates that confidence grows when your skills reinforce each other. You stop asking for permission to be multidimensional. You start trusting your internal logic. This is also when self-trust replaces anxiety. You stop fearing wasted time because you can trace how every interest shaped how you think. You begin to notice something subtle. People start coming to you for insights others can't provide, not because you know more, but because you connect more. And connection is the real advantage of your mind. You see the whole, not just the part. You sense where things are heading before they're obvious. The future doesn't belong to specialists or generalists alone. It belongs to integrators, people who can translate between worlds. If you felt misunderstood your whole life, this is why. You were built for an environment that's only just emerging. So here's the reframe to carry with you. You don't have too many interests. You have a long-term mind in a short-term world. Honor that. Design around it. Stop apologizing for it. Your path won't look linear, but it will make sense to the people who matter, especially the future version of you. If this video helped you feel seen instead of pressured, stay connected. Subscribe for more psychology insights that help you understand yourself deeply and move forward with clarity.